Why the trade school dream is becoming the new student loan nightmare. The great deception. They lied to your father, then they lied to you, and now they're lying to your children. For 20 years, the experts told us college was a scam. They showed us the barista with a $100,000 gender studies degree and laughed. They told us to pick up a wrench. They promised a six-figure salary, a dually truck, and a house in the suburbs by age 25. Welcome to 2026. The trade school dream has officially become the greatest bait and switch in American history. While you were busy grinding, the elite were pivoting. They didn't want you to have a degree because a degree makes you think. They wanted you to have a certificate because a certificate makes you a tool. You thought you were escaping the student loan nightmare? Look at your toolbox. Look at your van. Look at the price of copper. You aren't an entrepreneur. You're a high-voltage debt slave. Today, we are stripping back the grease and the lies to reveal the materials tax that is quietly bankrupting every independent contractor in America. Why the trades are now more oversaturated than a liberal arts faculty lounge. The body expiration date the recruiters never mention. Why blue collar is the new working poor. If you think your plumbing certification is a golden ticket, you've already lost. The oversaturation crisis, the clone wars, supply and demand, it's the first law of economics, and you ignored it. For the last decade, every micro wannabe on the internet screamed that we had a shortage of tradespeople. Well, guess what? Everyone listened. In 2026, the market is flooded in cities like Chicago and Phoenix. There are now more independent HVAC and tractors than there are actual houses needing repair. You aren't competing against the lazy college kids anymore. You're competing against 10,000 other guys who were told the same lie you were. What happens when supply explodes? Prices crater. The $100 an hour dream, gone. You're lucky to clear $35 after insurance, fuel, and taxes. But the trade schools, they're still charging $30,000 for a 9-month program. They traded the Ivy League suit for a Carhartt jacket, but the predatory lending is exactly the same. If you're sitting there thinking, not in my town, check your local Craigslist, count the ads, then ask yourself why your premium labor is being bid down to the price of McDonald's manager. The materials tax, the silent killer. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. You don't own a business. The suppliers own you. In 2026, the cost of raw materials, copper, wood, steel, is no longer a business expense. It's a ransom. If you're a small contractor in a major city, you are one supply chain hiccup away from total insolvency. When the price of PVC doubles overnight, do you think the homeowner cares? No. They want the quote you gave them last week. You're eating the difference. You're working 12-hour days just to pay off the Home Depot credit card. The materials tax is the hidden hand of the corporate elite. They don't need to tax your income if they can tax your existence. Every time you buy a roll of Romex, you are handing your profit directly to a conglomerate that laughs at your work ethic. You're a middleman for the commodity giants. You take all the physical risk, and they take all the liquid capital. The body expiration date, the psychology of decay. Let's talk about the blue-collar glow-up that the influencers don't show on Instagram. They show you the shiny truck. They don't show you the L5, S1 disc herniation at age 38. They don't show you the chronic inflammation that makes it impossible to hold your daughter's hand without wincing. In the corporate world, you can hide. You can quiet quit. You can coast in the trades. If your body breaks, your income stops, period. You are a machine made of meat, and machines wear out. The trade school dream is a race against time that you are statistically guaranteed to lose. By the time you make it, you'll be too broken to enjoy it. Is it really a dream if it requires you to trade your mobility for a mortgage? If you think your toughness will save you, go to any diner at 5 a.m. Look at the men in their 50s. Look at how they walk. That isn't hard work. That's a life sentence. The urban exodus and the death of the independent. In cities like Chicago, Seattle, and Austin, the independent contractor is a dying breed. Regulation is a new gatekeeper. The big boys, the massive private equity-backed service conglomerates, are lobbying for codes and permits that the small guy can't afford to navigate. They want a monopoly on your freedom. They want you to give up your van and come work with them for $22 an hour, wearing a GPS tracker and a company uniform. They've turned the trades into blue-collar Uber. The trade school dream was sold as a path to independence. Instead, it's a path to being a subcontracted servant for a billionaire who has never touched a wrench in his life. History shows us that whenever the masses rush toward a solution, the exit is already being locked from the outside. Higher education, the greatest debt trap in history. Don't mistake this for a defense of a university system. The college degree is a $2 trillion psychological operation. But here's the twist. The elite knew we would catch on. They knew the college bubble would burst. So they built a second trap. They created the blue-collar counterculture. They made working with your hands a brand. They marketed the trades to the same kids they used to mock. Why? Because society of debt-ridden, physically exhausted laborers is easier to control than a society of educated thinkers. If you're too tired to read, too broke to pivot, and too physically damaged to protest, you are the perfect citizen. You are the fuel for a machine you don't even understand. The dream isn't yours. You're just the one paying for it. We were told that if we worked hard and played by the rules, the American dream was ours at taking. We ditched the classroom for the workshops. We traded the pen for the hammers. We took on the debt. We broke our backs, and we waited for the six-figure life to begin. But the trucks are getting more expensive. The copper is getting harder to find. The competition is getting more desperate. And the body is starting to fail. The trade school dream is an alternative to the student loan nightmare. It's the sequel. You aren't building a future. You're just building someone else's empire with your own blood. So here's the question you need to answer before you go to sleep tonight. If you've traded your hell for a career that's being swallowed by material costs and corporate monopolies, what exactly do you have left to sell when your back finally gives out?